بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. عن أسامة بن زيد رضي الله عنه قال: قلت يا رسول الله لم أرك تصوم شهرا من الشهور ما تصوم من شعبان. قال: ذلك شهر يغفل الناس عنه بين رجب ورمضان، وهو شهر ترفع فيه الأعمال إلى رب العالمين، فأحب أن يرفع عملي وأنا صائم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear respected brothers and listeners, just changing the subject for today. Inshallah ta'ala, today we'll be talking, it's not the normal Fajr ta'lim which we do. This is slightly different. And we'll be talking about the month of Sha'ban, and we'll be talking about the special night in the month of Sha'ban, which is known as the 15th of Sha'ban. It's known in Arabic as Laylatul Bara'ah. It's a great favor of Allah Ta'ala that He gives us various occasions throughout the year where believers, where Muslims, where the mu'mineen, they can earn great reward. And we have various opportunities where if we carry out worship on these occasions, where if we engage ourselves in good deeds on these occasions, then it can be very beneficial. And we all know about the month of Ramadan, which is going to arrive soon. And in the month of Ramadan, each fard action, each obligatory action is rewarded 70 times, and each optional act is equivalent to the reward of an obligatory act. And we also know how blessed the nights of Ramadan are, especially the Laylatul Qadr, the night of Qadr, the night of power, which is better than 1,000 months. So now we're currently in the month of Sha'ban, and this is the month which is preceding Ramadan. So the next month after Sha'ban is Ramadan. And the word Sha'ban, it comes from the word tasha'rub, which means to move in different directions or to part company. So the reason why this month has been named like this is because during the days of Jahiliyyah, during the days of ignorance, in this month, the tribes they would separate and go here and there to fight. And the reason for this is because the month before Sha'ban is the month of Rajab, and the Rajab was considered to be a sacred month. And in the sacred months, fighting was prohibited. Fighting was not permissible. Hence, after Rajab would finish, in the month of Sha'ban, they would split and they would go back to their normal ways and start their wars and start their fighting. So the month of Sha'ban, it's also a very blessed month. And in this month, there's also an occasion where one can earn a great amount of reward. And the 15th night of this month is called Laylatul Bara'ah, like we mentioned earlier. Now, one point to remember is that in Islam, the night comes first. So when the date changes, it will change at the time of Maghrib. So for example, in the English calendar, the date today is the 7th of April. So now when it will become the 8th of April at 12 midnight. Now for example, Islamically now we're in the 14th of Sha'ban. So now it's the 14th of Sha'ban, and when it becomes Maghrib, the date will change and will be the 15th of Sha'ban. So the 15th night will start today after Maghrib, inshallah ta'ala. So, like we mentioned, another name for the 15th of Sha'ban is Laylatul Bara'ah. So firstly, what does the word Bara'ah mean? So literally the word Bara'ah means to be free, or to withdraw yourself from something. Inni bari'um mimma ta'budun. Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, he's mentioned in the Quran, he says that Inni bari'um, that I am free, I disapprove of the idol worship which you do. So he's talking to his people and he's using the word bari. So bari comes from the word bara'ah. So in other words, bara'ah means to free oneself, to disassociate yourself from something. So now, if we take the literal meaning, Laylatul Bara'ah means the night where you disassociate yourself, where you free yourself from something. So this is a night where a person, he frees himself and he disassociates himself from the hellfire, and he uses the opportunities in this night to gain himself freedom from Jahannam. So one thing is, on normal nights, the last third portion is the most blessed part of the night. But on this night, the entire night, from the time of Maghrib until Fajr, it's blessed. So this is when the virtue starts. Now, what are some actions which a person can do on this night? So, one, like we mentioned, one act is to ask forgiveness from Allah Ta'ala, and to ask forgiveness for oneself, and to ask forgiveness for those who have passed away. Another is to perform and engage oneself in acts of worship, and to engage oneself in these acts alone, by oneself, without fixing any or stipulating any number of rak'ah. So the worship should not be carried out together, and obviously it will be at home anyway. And the third is that if possible, then it will be mustahab, it will be a desirable act, an optional act, to fast the following day, on the 15th. So just a quick reminder of how to ask for forgiveness, that when a person makes tawbah, when a person repents to Allah Ta'ala, there's a few conditions. The first one is that whichever sin we're asking forgiveness from, then a person must stop that sin right away. And the second condition is that we make dua to Allah Ta'ala to forgive us. And the third condition is that a person must have this firm intention that he will not commit that sin again. One is that, if a person makes this firm intention not to commit it again, and then he commits it, then it's okay, you just renew your tawbah, and you renew your repentance. But another is that a person never had this intention to give up the sin anyway, and then a person still goes on and asks forgiveness without having this sincere intention. So this is against sincerity, and this is more like playing a joke with Allah Ta'ala. If we are committing the sin with a particular person or group of people, or we're committing the sin in a particular place, then you have to remove those means which are drawing that person towards the sin, or remove the means which is drawing us towards the sin. A person cannot ask for forgiveness with the intention that he'll commit the sin again, and then keep asking for forgiveness. That's not true repentance. Also, a person must supplicate for forgiveness for one's relatives and friends who have passed away, as they're not in a position to do anything at all which will benefit them. And whilst we are asking for forgiveness, we should have firm hope in our hearts that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most forgiving, most merciful, so He will inshallah ta'ala forgive them, and He will forgive us as well inshallah ta'ala. Now, in regards to spending the night in worship, obviously one thing is that it's impossible for a person to spend the entire night, worshipping Allah ta'ala, and praying Salah, or perhaps reading Quran. It might be a bit too much, or it might get a bit tedious, and it might get a bit boring. So one thing is that what's advisable is that a person, they should split their time, and they should set a timetable. It's okay to sleep during the night. It's not a problem. So one thing is that a person should try and set a routine from after Maghrib, that after Maghrib I'll do this, we do some ta'aleem with the family, and after that we'll pray Isha together, and then we'll sleep for an hour or two, wake up again, and then spend the night in worship. And one good thing is that you split your time up. So for example, if a person has set aside 1 hour, then you split that hour into 4. So the first quarter will be spent in reciting the Quran, or in reciting whatever surahs a person has memorized. And then the second 15 minutes, that will be spent in, engaging oneself in praying Salah. And then the third portion will be spent in doing tasbih and dhikr. And the last portion will be spent in making dua to Allah Ta'ala. So if a person splits their time, and they do different activities at different intervals, then the night passes really fast, and you won't even realize, and by the time it's done, it's time for Fajr. So this is one way of spending the night. Another thing is that during this night, it's very important that a person clears their heart from ill feelings towards other Muslims. One should, well, the scholars have mentioned that those who harbour ill feelings are deprived of Allah Ta'ala's mercy and forgiveness on occasions like these. So there's a hadith which mentions that there's 4 people that will be deprived on this night. The first type is a person who's an alcoholic, a Muslim who's an alcoholic. The second is the person who disobeys his parents, and the third is one who severs family ties, and the fourth is one who harbours ill feelings in his heart for others. So these 4 types of people, they are in a position to be deprived from the mercy and forgiveness of Allah Ta'ala during this special occasion, during this special night. So to summarize, this night is very blessed and has been proven by the sheer amount of hadith which have been narrated about it. So a person should spend this night in dua on an individual basis, and a person must refrain from performing these actions which are against the teachings of Islam, and something which will hinder us from acquiring the mercy and forgiveness from Allah Ta'ala. And if a person wishes to fast, then he may fast the following day. And if a person feels like, okay, they can't fast, then it's also not a problem. They can leave out that fast. So Allah Ta'ala gives us tawfiq to benefit from what's been said. And just before we leave, I just wanted to conclude on one point, that tawakkul, trust in Allah Ta'ala, or you can say reliance upon Allah Ta'ala. In these last few weeks, it's been very challenging for many of us, and the challenge isn't finished yet. However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with the one tool which will help us get through this, and this is our Iman, this is our faith. Alhamdulillah, we believe everything happens with the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This helps us to come to terms with loss, with tragedy, with adversity and difficulty. And when we come out on the other side, inshallah ta'ala, our connection with Allah ta'ala will have strengthened. And now we're seeing something, that the creation is completely helpless in front of the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No matter how much money we have or how much technological advancements we've reached, the world has come to its knees in the face of something that we can't even see. So what we can do is, for us, we should start correcting ourselves, and correcting ourselves in the sense that we should start fulfilling our obligations, praying 5 times a day, discharging our zakat properly, and making sure that this Ramadan is the best Ramadan we've had so far. And if Allah Ta'ala has decided, then inshallah Ta'ala, hopefully we'll be able to go for Hajj as well. So we make a firm intention to prepare for all of these, inshallah Ta'ala. And let's make this an opportunity to try and remove the bad habits and traits that we have, and replace them with good habits and good traits. And let's make this an opportunity to use this time productively, wisely, and not waste it. The reality is that, every breath that we have, this is a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So let's use each breath according to the best of our ability. So may Allah Ta'ala give us a tawfiq to return back to normality, the way things were, and may He cure those who are ill, may He grant patience to the families who have lost loved ones, and may He make the graves of those who have passed away graves of Jannah, inshallah Ta'ala. Subhanallah bihamdi, subhanakallahumma bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.